Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the last group. In this occasion, we will present about the result of the discussion about Tintern Abbey by William Wordsworth. But before we continue, let me introduce the members. Next. The first is Putri Rahayu Diningrum, and the second is Corina Ratibatiar, and the last is me, Pelanjani. And for the first explanation will be delivered by Corina Ratibatiar. The time is yours.
Thank you so much for the moderator. So I would like to talk about from poem Tintern Abbey by William Wordsworth. And this poem is a monologue in which the poet addresses himself of the spirit of nature and sometimes his sister. Presence of nature is felt throughout the poem, and he is addressing nature directly, talking to nature and telling what association, what relationship he has with nature. And he talked to his sister also, who is his friend, and says that she also inspired by nature. She loves nature, and he finds that there is some affinity he has with his sister. And the second one is this poem traces various aspects and states of Wordsworth's relationship with nature. Since Wordsworth had a deep association with nature, so when he talk about his life, he had a very close tie with nature, and his relationship with nature evolved from stake to stake throughout his life. And in this poem, it's a short poem. In this poem, he talks about development of his relationship with nature. And the poem is marked with nostalgia as Wordsworth draw on his childhood memory in order to talk about his relationship with the nature. He memorize in order to talk about his relationship with nature, and then talk about his deep and passionate involvement with nature in this poem. I think that's all from me. Thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you so much for the explanation. And the next, I will explain about three major themes in Tintern Abbey poem. There are three major themes: relationship between man and nature, transformation, and memories. At first, Wordsworth gave us an overview of the landscape where he was standing as he told us about what was happening around him. After 5 years, he had not visited that place. He described in general terms the beauty of the scenery he admired. In his poem, he talks about memories, the power of his memory, the sustenance he received from his previous memories. His visit at that time reminded him of how memories of Tintern Abbey had kept him going, even in the great turmoil he had to go through. And he tells us about the relationship between man and nature. Through his youth and maturity, he was attracted to nature and transformed his mind from a mere physical connection to an intellectual or spiritual connection. Next. And there are three elements. The first is sycamore on line 10. Here under this black sycamore and view. Sycamore is a large tree with a strong and sturdy trunk and broad leaves that live for hundreds of years. In the poem, the sycamore symbolizes fertility, immortality, strength, and divinity. Sycamore describes Wordsworth's memories of Tintern Abbey that are eternal and never fade from his memory. Wordsworth uh, used sycamore to describe the natural surroundings, um, which at that time were almost entirely green. And on line 12, it says, which at the season with their unripe fruits. The unripe fruit that occurred at that time was caused by summer, and Wordsworth described himself with that, which means he had not grown up at that time. And the last is river on line 71 of the deep rivers and the lonely streams. And the river symbolizes the movement of time, where time goes on and he cannot longer return to that moment in time. And the river also gave him peace of mind from what he was afraid of in his childhood. That's all from me. And for the next and for the conclusion, will be delivered by Putri Rahayu Diningrum. The time is yours.
Okay, I will explain the conclusion. In the conclusion of this analysis, the authors use the symbols of nature to describe his memories of his childhood and how he feels when he comes back after he grows up. Wordsworth, through the poem Tintern Abbey, has shown a way to establish a better world and a better life, and has taught how a close relationship with nature could be created in order to give birth to a peaceful and harmonious life in the world. He advised everyone to learn from the past. This is perceptible in the words of Geoffrey Hartman, who claims that Wordsworth poetry looks back in order to look forward to a better. The poem Tintern Abbey is a typical critical work which strives to promote a relationship between nature and human beings. It also indirectly advises every reader to look back and see how human beings have behaved towards nature in the past and what the consequence of their anthropocentric attitude towards nature are. It also insists on the need to take proper measures to establish harmony with nature. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, that's all from us. That's all our presentation today. And thank you so much for stopping by our video. And the last, have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.